And the fighters in the ring to get the instructions from the referee. A lot of bad blood between these two fighters, Charles J.
Let me tell you something, Jeff. There was a lot of animosity at the weigh-in. McGrew was shouting some expletives at Lonnie Smith. Lonnie Smith says originally he was going to use this as a workout, go 6-7 rounds. He wants to get Darren McGrew right out of there and out of there as soon as possible. Let's see what happens.
This figures to be a fast-paced opening round. This one's scheduled for 10. Lightning Lonnie Smith, the former WBC super lightweight champion of the world. He lost the title in his first defense to Rene Arredondo about 9 months after he captured that belt. And he takes on Darren McGrew from Atlanta, who came into the ring with a record of 15-11-1. McGrew in the red trunks with the white trim. And Lightning Lonnie Smith, the NABF welterweight champion, the white trunks with the red stripe.
And Jeff, you see a lot of intensity on the face of Lonnie Smith. He is really focused on this fight. Hasn't fought in a while. In fact, Smith last fought in December against Eduardo Valdez, went 2 rounds and scored a technical knockout. He's looking to get more active, and this is an important step toward that end.
Darren McGrew has a strange defensive posture in this fight. Appears to be off balance with his footwork, even in the opening moments of round 1. Lonnie Smith tagged him with a left hook to open up the action.
You know, McGrew is a very unorthodox fighter. He's the type of guy who is not adverse to sitting down on the ropes in hopes of making his opponent miss. He's very awkward, and he hopes to present that to Smith. Smith, an awkward guy himself, though, so I don't know, we can see an unusual fight here.
You can see the focus on the face of Darren McGrew as Smith misses with a wild right hand, and McGrew wrestles him through the center of the ring and gets an admonition from the referee. Midway through round 1, Lonnie Smith comes in with 2 heavy left hands. His second one landed to the chest of Darren McGrew. McGrew yet to open up offensively in this fight.
Smith knows really nothing about Darren McGrew. He just knows that in McGrew's last fight, which was just a few weeks ago, he lost an 8-round decision to Jesse Williams in Orlando. After the fight, Williams tested positive for marijuana in his blood, and the fight was declared a no decision. So McGrew getting a reprieve from defeat in that fight against Jesse Williams.
Lonnie Smith with a huge left hook, and that hurt Darren McGrew to the body.
Big body shot by Smith. You can hear it in the back seats here at the Diplomat.
McGrew looks at him and tries to laugh that one off, but you could definitely see him feeling the pain of that body shot. A left hook to the head, and McGrew is wobbled again. He looks back at Smith and says, that didn't hurt me either, but with 20 seconds to go in round 1, Lonnie Smith with all the heavy artillery. McGrew hangs on now as Lonnie Smith gets a grazing shot to the head of Darren McGrew.
And McGrew will do anything to hang on, Jeff.
Final seconds of round 1. This one's scheduled for 10, and Lonnie Smith opens up with fire in his eyes and his fists as we come to the close of round 1.
Jeff, an interesting round there is Lonnie Smith really trying to press an advantage, coming right out after Darren McGrew from the opening bell. Here's a guy that is trying to also shake off ring rust at the same time. Here you see him in his corner. His manager and co-trainer is Sterling McPherson, who's a pretty good welterweight in his time. Sterling, a guy who got into the ratings. Let's take a look at an unbelievable body shot there by Smith. Knocked Darren McGrew back onto the ropes. As we mentioned, he is not adverse to sitting back down on the ropes. Let's look at action from later on in the round, and a big left hook by Smith. It did not land flush, but it landed enough to drive Darren McGrew back.
Lonnie Smith controlling the action in round 1. Round 2, we're scheduled for 12 at the Diplomat Hotel in Hollywood, Florida. Jeff DeForest along with Charles J. ringside as we await the return to the ring of Larry Holmes, the former heavyweight champion of the world. Have a good one brewing here. Bad blood between these two fighters. Darren McGrew in the red trunks with the white trim. Lonnie Smith, who captured round 1 handily with 2 huge left hooks, one to the body, one to the head, and he rocked Darren McGrew. He's wearing the white trunks with the red trim.
And you know, another thing that Lonnie Smith is steaming about, he was supposed to be the opponent for Julio Cesar Chavez on March 18th. What happened is that Chavez knows Lonnie Smith has a very difficult style for him. Lonnie Smith could give Chavez a lot of trouble. Chavez balked at fighting Smith, who was ranked 8th by the WBC and 7th by the IBF. Instead, he fought John Super D Duplessis, knocked out Duplessis in the 4th round. Sterling McPherson, the manager of Smith, says he wants to force Julio Cesar Chavez into a title fight. He wants to eventually get Smith rated #1 as the mandatory challenger.
Well, Darren McGrew learned his lesson in round 1. He's been fighting going backwards in this one, trying to stay away from the power of Lonnie Smith. Smith appears to have a huge advantage in that department. As you can see, he's a rather well-muscled fighter for a welterweight, strong from head to toe, and he pounded Darren McGrew a couple of times in the opening stanza of this fight. Midway through round 2, we're scheduled for 10. Lonnie Smith, the NABF welterweight champion, former world champion in that same 140-pound class.
All right, now that's either got to be a knockdown or a slip. Referee calling it a slip because McGrew's knees touched the ground.
Darren McGrew trying to feel his way inside against Lonnie Smith, but every time he comes forward, Smith makes him pay, as he does just there, rocks him against the ropes. I don't think that'll be ruled a knockdown, as Darren McGrew fell against the bottom rope. And instead, Smith gets a warning from the referee for coming in and pushing him with a body.
Well, you know, that is a favorite tactic of McGrew. He likes to slip and slide and sit on those ropes, and I would look for that again in this fight.
About a minute to go, inside of a minute now in round 2. This one's set for 10. Smith has opened fire with left hooks and really showing disdain for Darren McGrew's punching power in this fight. McGrew has been unable to mount any type of offenses at all as we come to the closing seconds of round 2. Left hand stings Darren McGrew once again as Smith comes straight forward with that one, abandoning the hooking tactics, and he gets another warning from the referee.
McGrew with no offensive attack at all in this fight, just moving around and running. Good left hook by Smith.
Tries to shake off another one. Final seconds of round 2, counting down now. Inside of 10, Lonnie Smith has put another round in the bank as he's dominated this fight with power punches through 2 rounds.
The weight division, round 3 coming up.
This is round 3. We're scheduled for 10 in the junior welterweight ranks. 140 pounds the limit. Lightning Lonnie Smith in the white trunks with the red trim. He hails from Las Vegas, Nevada. 28-2-1 as a pro. 14 knockouts against Darren McGrew, who's fighting out of Atlanta, Georgia. 15-11-1. And McGrew has been fighting going backwards as Lonnie Smith overpowers him with a right shaft to the body. And McGrew forced to hang on.
Smith fighting like a guy on a mission, you know. Smith is originally from Pueblo. Oh, good left hook there.
And another. He follows that left hook with the second shot to the head. And Darren McGrew spun around now, partially in a daze. They were getting a point deduction, I believe, from Lonnie Smith.
They took a point away from Smith, and I don't know why, Jeff.
It seems incredible. The referee has warned him a couple of times. It looked to me like he got 2 clean shots home, and the fighter shouldn't have even been broken.
I don't know what
McGrew was spun around.
I don't know what he could be warning him against. What did he do?
Maybe warning him against hitting too hard and ending his fight too soon. Minute and 40 to go in round 3. Lonnie Smith has dominated. He's won the first 2 rounds, but lost a point on the scorecards for some bizarre reason. Only in boxing, where the bizarre is the norm, Charles. Meanwhile, in the center of the ring, Darren McGrew unable to mount any kind of offensive attack at all. He's been catching punches all night, and Lonnie Smith has created all the action in this fight.
Well, McGrew using a couple of cute defensive moves. Smith is not cutting the ring off all that well. He's stalking McGrew, but going around in circles.
McGrew tries a lead right hand. Smith blocks it easily. Smith fires 2 shots, the left and then the right, grazing the chin of Darren McGrew with a minute to go in round 3. Scheduled for 10, Lonnie Smith, Lightning Lonnie Smith out of Las Vegas, Nevada in the white trunks, and Darren McGrew in the red. And starting to see some swelling over the left eye of Darren McGrew, and he gets tagged right on that spot.
Good straight right hand, and that was set up by the jab of Lonnie Smith. McGrew is mimicking Smith, holding his hands down, but he is a little stung by that.
Lonnie Smith looking extremely confident and poised as he stepped into the ring for tonight's fight. He's maintained that edge through 3 rounds of this one. Really dominated the fight right from the opening bell. got a couple of big shots off in round 1, controlled round 2 easily with the left hook to the body and then to the head, and he's had round 3 easily his way as well as we approach the final seconds.
This is all Lonnie Smith, Jeff, and McGrew's got to get the respect of Lightning Lonnie before too long. He's going to get knocked right out of here.
Final seconds of round 3, a point deduction against Lonnie Smith, the only bad omen for him in this fight. 4 scheduled for 10 in the junior welterweight division. Lightning Lonnie Smith in the white trunks with the red trim, and Darren McGrew, who's been playing catcher all night to Lightning Lonnie's fastballs with the left and right hand. He's in the red trunks with the white trim, and he's going to have to come up with a solution for Lonnie Smith if he's going to stay in this fight.
Well, he's doing a lot of moving around. At times he's making Smith miss, but he's coming back with nothing. And I'll tell you, Smith hitting him with those shots. He's digging those shots to the liver. McGrew has no offensive artillery to throw at Smith to keep him from coming.
Lonnie Smith very controlled in the ring through 4 rounds of this fight. We're about a minute into round 4. Lonnie Smith has picked his spots very well. Comes in on the attack now and lands a right hand. And this is the tactic that he's been warned for and ultimately had a point deducted. But he's having no problem finding the face of Darren McGrew with that left hook.
But Lonnie throwing some wide punches. That's not really advisable. He's looking for that haymaker. Look how he's moving in. He's not really using a stiff jab. He's coming in with those big left hooks, big right hands. He's got to build something and sets the big punches up with combinations, Jeff.
Darren McGrew came into the ring with a steel gaze for Lonnie Smith. He's kind of glassy-eyed now as he's been pummeled through 3.5 rounds of this fight. Minute and a half to go in round 4, set for 10. Smith now opening up and appears to be scoring at will against Darren McGrew, who's ultimately defenseless here midway through round 4. Smith with a heavy left hook. The right hand gets home. And Darren McGrew trying to play possum along the ropes, not doing a very good job of blocking these shots.
Well, you know, he's open for the shots and he's looking to play the clutch and grab game. And Lonnie Smith is just teeing off. Look at that body shot right there. And he's been warned about getting it up. That was, didn't really look like a borderline shot to me, but
appeared to be below the belt, but we see no hand movement on the part of Darren McGrew. And finally, he throws a right hand. That's his first offensive maneuver since the opening moments of this fight. Lonnie Smith has controlled all the action, and he's had Darren McGrew on the edge of that left hook. Now he comes in and punches in combination as he's winning every rally.
I'll tell you, he's been able to move McGrew with his punches, which he's moving him right back with the straight right hand and with the left hook.
Under 30 seconds to go in round 4, slated for 10 in the junior welterweight ranks. Lonnie Smith has won every round on our scorecards. Had a point taken away for holding and pushing by the referee. He was warned a couple of times in round 3. That's the only detrimental factor in this fight so far for Lonnie Smith. It's pretty much been a gym workout for him, as once again he pounds the head of Darren McGrew with a right hand. Set for round 5. We're scheduled for 10 in the junior welterweight ranks. Jeff DeForest ringside along with Charles J. And we're also awaiting the arrival in the ring of Larry Holmes, who comes up in our main event tonight against Tim Anderson. This is Lonnie Smith in action. It's been a showcase for him through 4 rounds of this junior welterweight matchup, scheduled for 10. And Lightning Lonnie Smith wearing the white trunks with the red trim. Darren McGrew from Atlanta, Georgia, 15-11-1 as a pro in the red trunks. And he's going to have to come up with some answers if he's going to get back into this fight. Smith with the right hand, and that gets the attention of Darren McGrew once again.
And you saw a little bit of that bobbing and weaving by Smith that makes it so difficult for world-class opponents to fight him. Smith is an unusual guy to fight. He doesn't have a tremendous opponent in front of him, so you're not going to see a lot of that. You're going to see a lot of aggression from Smith, but he will hit you from different angles.
That's your classic boxing stance. He's kind of looking straight at you, but he comes at you with angles, and that makes him a very difficult guy to figure out.
It reminds me an awful lot of a former junior middleweight champ, Jeff, named Buster Drayton. The guy would come at you from different angles, lean this way, lean that way, and hit you with a big right hand roundhouse, and then come back up with the left hook. Good puncher, Buster Drayton. Smith has some of the same characteristics.
We've seen the power and the impact of Lightning Lonnie Smith's punches, and he gets another one that's partially blocked, but it did score to the head of Darren McGrew. Follows it up with a left hook to the body, and now he's got McGrew in trouble against the ropes. body, and that shook McGrew.
That did look like it might be just a little low.
Lonnie Smith had a point taken away from him in round 3 for grabbing and holding on the break, and there was bad blood between these fighters at the weigh-in. All that bad blood seems to be transformed into Lonnie Smith, because Lonnie Smith has been totally the aggressor in this fight, and he's dominated the action since the opening bell.
Look at that lazy left jab. I know Sterling McPherson would like to see him throw a snapping left, and I'm looking at him in the corner now, and he's showing him that snapping left jab. He's saying, throw it out there and set up some punches instead of trying to throw the bomb.
Lonnie Smith with 14 knockouts to his credit in 31 professional fights, right around the 50% mark. He's had Darren McGrew measured, and if he could put some punches together and flurry this man against the ropes, he might be able to take Darren McGrew out. And it would look good for him if he could score a knockout here at the Diplomat tonight, if he wants to get a mandatory title shot and work his way up into the top 4 or 5 in the rankings.
Well, Sterling McPherson is saying that right now he's ranked 7th by the IBF. The good possibility he may be ranked 3rd or 4th next month. Number 1 contender is Rafael Pineda, who's slated for Chavez in June, so he could move up in a hurry.
It's been a thorough domination in this fight of Darren McGrew as we look at him in his corner. He's been shaken a couple of times, both by body shots and hooks to the head. Lonnie Smith has controlled this fight. Not a lot of jabbing, not a lot of movement, except from the fists of lightning Lonnie Smith. And Darren McGrew, midway through this fight, has lost every round on my scorecard, Charles J.
Well, you know, McGrew, I don't think has landed more than 5 or 6 punches in this whole fight. I mean, there's a lot more to boxing than moving around in the ring and trying to ward off an oncoming opponent. McGrew's got absolutely nothing in the way of an arsenal.
You can see them working on the swelling around the left eye of Darren McGrew. That was brought on by heavy punches in round 2, and Lonnie Smith has pretty much had his way since that point. This is round 6, set for 10 in the junior welterweight ranks. Lonnie Smith in the white trunks with the red trim. Darren McGrew, his opponent, red trunks with the white stripe. This is a non-title bout. And one thing you can say about Darren McGrew, he appears to have the head of an anvil, as he's been taking a steady stream of punches from Lonnie Smith, and he's been able to shake him off thus far.
And it looks like Smith indeed looking for the home run punch here instead of letting things take care of themselves. Sterling McPherson told him in the corner, just settle down just a little bit. Now look at Smith throwing these wild punches from all angles. He's got too much talent to have to do that. He can wear McGrew down and knock him out his own way.
Smith appears to be an excellent counterpuncher, but Darren McGrew, a difficult guy for him to fight because McGrew is really offering no offense. He appears content just to be a stayer in the ring, the type of guy that's going to stick around for the 10 rounds, get nailed in every round, and pretty much have nothing to say about it offensively. Just try and go the distance against a former world champion.
Well, you know, McGrew is used to getting nailed, at least in the gym. He sparred with guys like Pernell Whitaker and Meldrick Taylor. May have gotten that sparring partner mentality, Jeff, that happens to fighters when they are used to being sparring partners.
McGrew finally comes forward, gets a glancing blow as he was off balance against Lonnie Smith. Smith in no difficulty whatsoever as the right hand. The first scoring punch in some time from Darren McGrew midway through round 6. You can see the effectiveness of those hooks to the body, and it's wide open for him. Lonnie Smith, he scores with both hands, then comes upstairs.
And McGrew looking to become a professional cook when his boxing days are over. And
he's fried in the ring tonight.
He's not cooking up a recipe for victory tonight against Smith. There's no question about that.
So far, he's been duck soup as we're a minute to go into round 6. Lonnie Smith having everything his own way. He's really stirred all the action. The hooks have gone home, and the only thing Smith may be getting a little overconfident here and not putting his punches together and looking sharp for the fans on TV.
Well, you know, Jeff, you know a guy's used to being a sparring partner when, you know, he's in the kitchen at the restaurant he works at and somebody asks him to make duck and he falls to the ground.
So far, Darren McGrew really not mounting any kind of attack. Lonnie Smith in round 6, much the same as the previous 5, almost a carbon copy. Lonnie Smith hitting Darren McGrew virtually at will, although unable to land in flurries. These shots to the body have made the story of this fight with 20 seconds to go in the 6th round. We're scheduled for 10. Lonnie Smith, the former world champion, had a matchup scheduled against Julio Cesar Chavez, the dominant fighter in this category. That fight fell through. He's looking for another shot at the title, and hopefully he'll be on the road to that after this matchup.
And it looks like there might be a little problem with McGrew. He's cut over the left eye, Jeff, and that's going to be a problem. Let's take a look in the corner there.
All right, we're in the corner now, and you can see blood from the eye of Darren McGrew. It would almost be wise if they did stop this one sometime soon, although Darren McGrew has been game in this fight. As we said, he may have developed a sparring partner mentality and just willing to stay in there.
All right, now they got to get that end swell right over that eye right away. I don't know why they don't have it on the eye right now. You've got to use every second you've got in the corner, Jeff, all 60 seconds, and they're just not doing it in there.
Get another look at what may have opened the cut on the eye.
It's, you know what, look at that, Jeff. It's an elbow, a backlash of a right hand that Lonnie Smith threw at Darren McGrew.
And maybe the laces. As you saw McGrew, they're off balance, and he still stuck a little right hand inside.
You can see the abrasion right there. Let's take another look here.
That could have done some damage as well, Josh.
Well, you know, now it's a target for Lonnie Smith. They're going to take a look at it. I believe the doctor is going to look at the cut right now.
And Lonnie Smith's corner is yelling, start the fight. Let's
now,
go.
they have said, yes, you got hit with a punch, and that caused the cut. So that becomes an important factor, Jeff.
Looked like that right hand, the second replay that we saw, caused the damage more so than the elbow and the laces. This is round 7. We're scheduled for 10. Lonnie Smith in the white trunks with the red trim, the NABF junior welterweight champion. He's been doing a lot of that throughout this fight, hammering away at the head and body of Darren McGrew from Atlanta, Georgia. And this could be the final frame for Darren McGrew as Smith opens fire. And that's it. The referee steps in and stops it. And I think that's a good maneuver, as Darren McGrew really had mounted no offense whatsoever.
Well, Jeff, it looked like sort of a quick stoppage to me. I think McGrew could have gone a little longer. Smith was landing punches, but you know, Jeff, those were fast punches, but arm punches. They looked like slaps. He wasn't really...